All right. Welcome to the Breaking Gill Boys podcast. Well, I'm solo again. Junior is going to his first day of school tomorrow. So, plus he's kind of on, how can we put on disciplinary leave as well? You know, he's a 9-year-old. As Cormeum knows, he has children as well. So they're not always, the best well-acting children. They don't listen all the time. So, again, without further ado, I welcome Cormeum to the show. So what does Cormeum mean, by the way, first?
It's Latin. It means my heart. I got it from Hannibal Lecter, the movie. Yeah, the opera scene when they're singing. I fell in love with the song and I looked up the words for it and I was
like, oh yeah,
that's
dude, this is a great nugget. That's a great nugget.
Yeah, like I'm sticking to that. So and then nobody uses Cormeum, so I was like, oh, that's perfect. This works.
I think nobody knew what it meant until today. So this is great. I just unearthed this big nugget on Cormeum, a.k.a. Lionel, if that's all right.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. So I want to, again, thank you for coming on and so forth. I know you kind of, from a content creation standpoint, I think you're fairly new to TikTok as well. Am I wrong or?
Yeah, I'm new. I'm brand new. I was surprised at the people that were following me. I was like, wait, what? Y'all actually like my stuff? That's crazy.
Oh, that's right. That's how we met. So I tagged you with the Rip and Wax video, and you were so stoked and all this stuff. Like Chris is a really cool guy over at Rip and Wax. He sent me and my son a hobby box of limited, like just because he just reminds him. My son reminded him of kind of him and his dad or things like that. It was super cool. Unfortunately, we pulled a Kyle Pitts redemption, which is still out. It hasn't been fulfilled. Big surprise. But no, he's a great dude, and so there's so many great people in this hobby. It's insane. So Cormeum, I just gotta go with that name. It's like a superhero name. Let's just go with that. So tell me how your sports card journey and so forth. How if you collected when you were younger to now, or how did you go about coming to TikTok as well?
Well, my sports card journey, I mean, I hope you got some time because...
Yeah, do it, dude. I talk a lot, so I need someone else to do it. Plus, I have a beverage, so...
It started in 1991 when I got a box. My mom's friend gave me a box of 1991 Topps football, the complete set.
Okay.
And I think I mentioned in one of your videos, like my favorite card out of that set was an Eric Metcalf. When he was with the Browns.
Oh my God! Okay, all right. I must have missed that. I do. So how old were you in 91? So I can cry.
I was I was 7.
Yeah. Okay. I just graduated high school. Okay. Anyway, so I am a big Cleveland Browns guy. I fell in love with those teams in the 80s, mid to late 80s, and so forth. Bernie Kosar and Metcalf and all those guys. Metcalf I believe his dad played as well. He was an absolute stud returner. I think I think he's a top 10 of all time in returns. But I got a Metcalf because I think he's in Optic. I was so stoked, dude. People were like, why? Because memories, right. Man, memories.
Yeah, that was that, and Otis Anderson was my favorite cards out of that complete set, and I don't know why. Like I was watching
the Giants or the Cardinals at that time.
The Giants.
Okay. Yeah.
And and I think during that time they were going into the Super Bowl or won the Super Bowl or something, so I was like super stoked for them.
Sure.
And so that's where it started. I've always collected. Cards at that time were everywhere. You can go to a dollar store and find cards. So
yeah, absolutely.
And then just the 90s era was just amazing to me, man. Just
absolutely. That was a golden age of football, man. Absolutely.
It was good. It was the golden age for everything, man. You can find a favorite player in every sport. I mean, from hockey, Mario Lemieux, football, baseball had all the stars,
Barnes
basketball,
and Sosa and McGuire, and on and on.
Yeah. So that was just great. And then as I got older, I kind of stepped away from it. I put all my cards in a shed, in my grandma's shed, and then then Katrina came because I'm from New Orleans and kind of blew the shed away. So
I
lost my entire collection.
Oh no! So hey, Cormeum, Alex wanted to say hi before he went to bed. So
how you doing?
You want to say hi? So he has a son who's 6 years old, not too much younger than you. Sure, because he has to go to bed. We'll cut. Go ahead.
What's your favorite card?
What's my favorite card? I actually have it here. It's this Deion Sanders. I think it's
Oh, that's
1992
awesome.
upper deck. I just think that it's an awesome
It
photo.
is.
Yeah, this is the. I found this card for $5, and I was like, man. And I remember having it as a child, and
Yeah,
it was just great to keep it, to put it back in my collection. It's like in the middle of my display. I
I
love this
love it.
card.
That's awesome.
And
All right, you got one more. Go ahead.
what's your best price
Most valuable card, money wise, I guess.
I don't.
It's okay. It's okay.
Money wise, right now it's the Patrick Mahomes downtown PSA
Whoa,
10.
good for you. What year is that?
Yeah. This year, 2021.
Oh, nice. Good for you.
I pulled it out of a blaster.
Yeah. Oh, I was in a break and I got this. I got the Barry Sanders out of a blaster. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was stoked.
Dude, my son and I, when they pulled Barry out of it, we went crazy. Like I went crazy because Barry Sanders is my guy. And so forth, and then of course they're like, well, there's a separation line on. I'm like, let me bask in the moment now and just not talk about that.
I was shocked I got a PSA 10. So I was like, oh man,
Good for you.
I
All right, say bye because
gotta go to bed.
all right.
All right, so he made his cameo. So, but to your point, so Dion, Dion and Bo Jackson. I mean, Bo Jackson, like the two player athlete, and you might have played, or if not, I know you definitely heard of, like Tecmo Bowl, big video game in the '80s, and Bo Jackson was unstoppable. Yeah. What's funny is there's a newer Nintendo came out not too long ago, like just a small unit with all the games downloaded on it. So they don't have the players' names anymore, but they still have the numbers, and the Raiders are on there. So I actually was playing my son. I was using Bo Jackson. I just cut him up. I'm sorry. One time. You always got to teach lessons to your kids, and sometimes they use video games.
I do it all the time.
Trust me. I was playing him in Tecmo Bowl, and he was talking smack. He was up by like 18, 17 points, talking smack at halftime and all that. And then I laid the hammer down and beat him by like 20. And he got this like 2 or 3 years ago, and he got so mad he quit. He's mad. I'm like, the game's not over until the game is
funny.
over.
It's funny. My wife just looks at me. She's like, "So you really not gonna let him win?" I was like, "Nah, he has to."
No. Not everybody gets a trophy. Cormeum. No, we don't play that game. I don't play that game in my house anyway.
Nah.
But no, so yeah, so you got the 91 tops. You love that series and so forth when you were a young kid and stuff. For me, it was like early 80s baseball. I mean, that's like Wade Boggs, Tony Gwynn, Ryan Sandberg, those guys. That was a big class, right? And I got those at the drugstore with my mom when I went to the drugstore, So those are the things that, which is because I think cards are like time capsules, right? They're like, that's what they are. Like someone just sent me this. A guy just sent me this PSA 9 Barry rookie. Like just to send it to me because he likes my content. I mean, I can't even tell you how many cards I have here that people have just sent to me because that's how awesome this community is. There's another one, a scorecard. I got one downstairs, another one from the Vortex guys. The community's phenomenal. It's just a great thing. I'm so happy I met people like yourself and other guys and gals. It's just a great community in general. But so did you collect cards throughout your childhood or?
Yeah. My favorite players to collect, it was always, the flashy players, of course, King Griffey, Dion,
Sure.
Jerry Rice.
Yeah.
I always wanted to be Jerry Rice.
Oh, we all did. Oh my God. Yeah.
And then I found Dion. I was like, nah, I want to shut Jerry Rice down. So, and I'll never forget, like as a kid, I pulled it was a King Griffey insert, and I looked in the Beckett book when they used to have Beckett.
Oh, the Beckett, the triangle going up. We're like, yes.
Yeah, and it was a $75 card, and I was like, what? I pulled a $75 card, and it was.
That's when base rookies were good, and
And I'm so sad like that whole collection is gone, man. It's
I got taken by the hurricane. Oh man, I'm sorry.
Yeah. It's all good, man. It's it happens.
I know. I mean, your home state has gone through a lot. There's no doubt about that. But I'm a cancer survivor. I've been laid off a lot of times and stuff like that. So we all have our own kind of hill we have to climb, right? So
yeah,
makes you stronger, dude. No doubt.
Yeah.
Not trying to get all mushy, but it's true. Because getting the sports card helped me out. Because last year I was like I was going through anxiety and depression because I was out of work, couldn't find a job. I interviewed, dude, for 30 jobs. Interviewed 30,
Man.
and it didn't land one. So every rejection a couple times is bad, but imagine it 30 times. So I remember Gary Vaynerchuk, a big Gary Vaynerchuk guy, and I remember him talking about the sports card market heating up again. And then, of course, with Mac Jones getting drafted by the Patriots and my son, was one of the major reasons we got back into it. We stopped by this best combination ever: ice cream shop, card shop. Like, could you get anything better? Right? Your wall gets thinner and you get fatter. It's perfect. It just all works out, right? So, I started, I sold a big Star Wars geek, and I sold off a lot of Star Wars stuff and got some money together. And I thought, hey, I'll get in this hobby, make some money, and have some fun and collect my son. And then I'm like, reality struck, because I went in, after we see how high priced everything was and like the availability was non-existent. I'm like, this isn't what I remember. Back in the day.
Same here. It's crazy. I did use sports cards as an escape. I was I didn't like my job at the time during COVID. It was just insane.
Right.
And it does help. It did help with,
Sure.
just as an escape. And also the crazy thing about sports cards is, like, my homeboy came to me and he was like, hey man, sports cards is the thing right now. And I was like, not those little things we used to collect as kids. No. He was like, I'm telling you. And then I got into it, and I got into it for the wrong reasons. I thought I was gonna make some money off of it. And then
we all did. We all heard about it. Our eyes got big. Let's not lie,
And then once I started again, I was like, man, I forgot how fun this is. Like, this is just awesome. So I started collecting, and I didn't want to sell anything. So my collection just grew and grew because I didn't want to sell anything.
Grew. And I'm sure your wife was like, what's this? What's this? What's this?
Yeah,
What's this other box of stuff?
Yeah. She was like,
Go ahead.
She was like, you spent how much on a hobby box? I was like, well, it's a hobby box. So
my wife actually, because I was trying to tell her I wanted her to help me fund my business, which I tried to do, right? So she bought me a box of, like, I think it was limited. I want to say limited or something, or I can't remember, but I did a comparison of, like, we bought a few hobby boxes back in late last year and early of this year, and to see where the prices went over the course of like 5 months was crazy. It was insane. Like a box of XR. I actually found one like 3 months ago. No, back in March. What was it? That's 5 months ago. For like $4.79. I'm like, I shouldn't buy it, but I haven't seen it this cheap. So I kind of got to do it, right? So I had a Davis Mills in there, RPA, and I hit like a GJ Shark 1-of-1 laundry tag. But and we could talk about napkins and all that too soon, but I'm an old school guy. I got like Cal Yastrzemski, who played for the Red Sox, is like my guy when I was young. And this is like a game worn piece of his uniform. Like, that means a lot to me, not a shirt he put on for 3 seconds.
Yeah.
Game worn. Player worn. He could have wiped his brow with it because he was sweating. Do you know what I mean? Like,
but I noticed like Topps usually do like game worn, and Panini just throws in a T-shirt that was on the shelf that maybe the player touched.
They went for Chinese food and they took the tablecloth.
Yeah, so it's always weird with Panini. I don't.
All right, well, let's. So we already kind of talked to my son. He gave a couple questions to you, so we can just skip to the meat, if you will, about Panini. So you did do a video just recently, which I liked a lot, and I like I said, we kind of cut from the same cloth. I said off air because I think we make videos that provoke thought and like debate. I have no problem debating people. I just not a big fan of people that are just in there to cause trouble and be demeaning and just cruel and stuff. There's no time for that, right? You could disagree with me all you want. If you're civil, then I'm cool with it. Let's bring it on. There's not too much left in this country about being civil and can debate and disagree. My friend's a stock Republican and I'm not, and I mean we're still best friends. I mean it's a lost art where you can agree to disagree and stuff. But the one of ones. Now, your take on that was kind of surprising to me because you were like, it's still cool to get a 1-on-1, but then, if Trevor Lawrence has like 50 of them, it's like, is it really that, fun? But I guess if you pull, like I just said, I got that GJ Shark. It was cool to have a 1-on-1. I also got a 1-on-1 Keenan Allen printing plate. But when they pulled it, we thought it was Herbie. We would all lose our minds. And then we saw the 13. I'm like, Oh God, the pain. But yeah, give me your take again on the one-on-ones. I thought that was interesting.
So my thing on the one-on-ones is that, even though I see that there's a big number, like I think the Herbert is the highest one. It was like 996 one-to-ones.
Jesus, yeah.
I mean, it seems like a lot. I mean, it sounds like a lot,
Right.
but the thing is that just like the thing with the Trevor Lawrence and the 6,100 rookie variations or whatever, it's like this hobby has grown so much.
True.
Like there's millions of people, and it's not just like in the US, it's like worldwide. And not to mention that you have one-on-ones the people who collect just wax. They're probably holding some of these one-on-ones in those boxes.
Sure, the boxes, yeah.
So it's like still pulling a one-of-one is still pretty special because it doesn't happen. I was able to pull 3 of them. I just think that was like some kind of crazy
case.
case.
You have to tell us, Cormeum.
I pulled Jerry West autograph one-of-one, and it was like a Serge Ibaka, and I forgot the last guy, but it wasn't like a star or anything. But it's just I don't think that people. I don't think that they're not as common as people think they are, because I think you see, and I think Chris from Rip and Wax said this too. You see like the same people keep pulling them, and so it doesn't seem like it's really common, because it's like, well, hey, he pulled like 5 last week. How can they be that common? It looks like there's one-on-ones all over the place. But and I do have my feelings about breakers and juice cases.
But there's no doubt that's that. I mean, I was talking to Happy Collector on my last podcast, and he said that Fanatics is striking like influencer deals, if you will, with Backyard and all. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, you see the influencers selling everything, energy drinks and this, that. I mean, Fanatics, you can't fault them for doing it because they got the pull. These people have the pull and so forth. I mean, I think I mentioned when I worked for Avid, we were looking up for musicians to talk about our software, so they could tell their peers and people in the industry and so forth. So no one gives a shit what we think about what we sell. They want to know what their friends and family think,
Right.
That's the end of the day, so.
And then my thing is like, so with all those variables, like holding you up from pulling a one-of-one, I think that when you actually pull one yourself, it's pretty special, and it's a big deal. I like I say, I don't think that it's as common as everybody trying to make it seem like Panini is just at one-of-one everything. And my last thing on it is that, even though it's a one-of-one, it's a one-of-one of that card. So like I use the example of, let's say, select field level. There's only one-of-one select field level. I don't care if there's a one-of-one introductions, one-of-one insert, whatever. Right. It's like if you pull that select field level, then you have that one-of-one. Nobody else would have it. So, I just think that people should just relax on it's too many. It's still rare. It's still a rare card. So.
Well, I mean, you made a good point about the rush, right? The fun of doing it. And like, for instance, so Sway, Gucci Rips, those guys were very excited that you were coming on, by the way. He's talking about it in his stream last night when I hopped in. So he sent me a box of 1990 Upper Deck baseball, right? So we know it's junk wax and all that, but my son and I had the best time ripping, because we're looking for Griffey's second year. It's worth probably $10, whatever. But he got it, of course. Like he has the magic touch. Like we do pack battles. He always beats me. He picks the big card. I give him a couple packs out of a box. He gets the biggest card and all this stuff. So that's kind of the fun of it. But like the chase, as you mentioned, with the one-on-ones, that's what it's all about. Like, again, when I hit this Barry downtown, again, this is PCville for me, because just to give you kind of a little background why I love Barry Sanders so much. So 90s again, 90s football, late 80s football. Barry and Emmett were it. But those are the two guys going back and forth. You either were a Barry guy or an Emmett guy. And I was definitely a Barry guy, because Barry did so much with less, because his teams were terrible. Yeah. They were not good. And Emmett's teams were loaded, right? When they started, when the Irvings and the Aikmans and the, Hoppers and the Novaceks and all those guys, like they were stacked. They won 3 Super Bowls, right? And Barry went to, I think, 1 or 2 playoff games. But the thing about Barry for me is what he did like the cuts and the bounce offs. And I know everybody says we had so many yards for a loss because he had to make things happen because his line was terrible. He did. So, Cormier, there was a play for me being a Patriots fan. I remember they played Detroit on Thanksgiving Day because, of course, they have the game every year. Barry ran, and you probably have seen the video too. I'm sorry, at some point. The Patriots had the old 90s unis with the big Patriot on here and stuff like that. And I always remember the guy he faked out of his pants, literally. Like he corkscrewed him. Like he completely corkscrewed him. Harlan Barnett of the Patriots. He went one way. Harlan Barnett turned around. Then he completely went the other way and blew his doors off. And there was another one with Ken Norton on the Cowboys too. Ken Norton just basically fell over because he couldn't. He just
Yeah.
So he's just so electrifying, and that I don't think there's been a player like him since from a pure talent standpoint. I don't think you'll never see a guy like that again. I don't think so.
No. Only thing that I can probably. It's not even close, but I mean, it will be second, I guess, would probably be Reggie Bush in college. That was that explosive.
Yeah, he was definitely a stud. I mean, I think Barry was like the Michael Jordan of football from like an athleticism kind of a thing. You know what I mean? Just what he could do with his body and so forth. And then again, like I said, just being in this hobby and when people catch wind of certain players you like again, I was showing you off air. I mean, I just got this PSA Barry rookie 9. I got this. Someone else sent me a PSA 8. I have a Barry PSA, another one downstairs. Cards. Because again, I'm the same way. If I have players that you like and they're just sitting in my box, I'd rather have you enjoy them. I mean, end of the day, I'll talk to you who you like, and I'll see if I have any, and I'll send them over. Stuff like that. But so is there one player for you that I don't know if it was Reggie Bush, like you said, but that just was electrifying to you that you just like? I just got to collect everything he's on.
Deion Sanders.
It's Deion. All right, I got a couple Deons.
I've put the video. I played baseball in high school. My number was always 2 or 21.
Okay, yeah.
I play flag football now, and I play cornerback.
Dude, yeah.
Yeah, because of Deion Sanders. It's always been Deion. At first it was Jerry, but then when I found Deion, I was like, sorry, Jerry, gotta leave you.
Was this Deion Atlanta, Deion San Fran, Deion Dallas?
It was Deion San Fran. I don't know what it was. That Super Bowl against the Chargers. Yeah. That night, that was it. That was my guy. And I hate the Cowboys, but I love Deion Sanders. So
right, dude, I don't know if you have these, but I don't know if you can even see that one, but it's a little glary. I don't know if you have this one.
No, I don't.
I don't know if you have this one.
Like I said, all my Deons and everything was just in my last collection, so everything is.
All right. Well, I'm gonna help. I'm gonna send these to you.
Nice.
Because you're gonna enjoy them way more than I, and I want to send someone that's gonna mean something. So I'll get your information after, but I'm sending those to you.
I appreciate that.
They're not big money cards, but when it's someone that you enjoy, it doesn't matter.
Nah.
So I'm gonna
have a wall of Deion would make me happy in my house.
All right. So everybody out there, please send Deion Sanders to Cormeum because again, if he's not your guy, then it's somebody else's guy, right? So, so going back to the hobby a little bit. So we talked about the Trevor Lawrence, the parallels, 6,100, and I did a video on it because Coach Co was saying Tom Brady had 140, and there's a stupid argument going on because it wasn't really the point they were trying to make. Everybody's like, well, Tom Brady was a 6th-round pick and all that. Understood. I get that. I still don't understand the whole how Herbie and Mahomes and Mac Jones and Burrow and T-Law and Fields and Lance, who I'm not sold on at all, and Mills and all those guys are worth more than Montana and Marino and all the guys that have won championships. That, I don't get it.
Well, I have my opinion on that too.
Please.
So what I think about why these new guys are worth more than the last guys is because these are the guys that the new generation can follow.
Agreed.
So
fantasy football as well.
Yeah, fantasy. There's and then there's that thing which is big in this hobby is prospecting. So people love to spend big money on prospecting. Mm-hmm. And it's just like they didn't see Peyton in his prime or like the Steve Youngs and
Montana or whatever. Yeah.
And unless you like a crazy football fan, you're not gonna go on YouTube like we do and watch those old videos of their
Sure,
highlights
yeah,
and
yeah.
all that other stuff. So I think that these new collectors just they're not familiar with these guys.
Right.
So
It's true because when I go when I go on breaks with see some breaks and the younger guys are breaking them and they pull out a card. Who was it? And they kind of just threw it away like no big deal. I think it was a Montana auto. And the guy's like, whatever. And everybody's like, what? That was a Montana autograph. What do you mean, whatever?
And somebody can come to me and say, well, what about your argument with Jordan? Well, he still has something that's relatable to the kids, which is his shoes.
Yes.
So as long as the kids are wearing his shoes, then they're going to look up and see, well, why is this so popular? Then they're going to watch the Jordan the videos.
Pop culture stuff for sure. Absolutely. Like, Bo Jackson and Dion is still, Dion's on TV still with was he on ESPN? I can't remember, or NBC or whatever he's on. He's one of the channels now. He was a rap star. I mean, he had a lot of things going on. You know what I mean?
Right. So
too legit to no. He didn't do. Was he on? No, he was on that with MC Hammer. I'm trying to think of his song. He had a song. What was it?
Must Be the Money.
Must Be the Money. Oh God.
Must Be the Money.
Because I grew up in 80s, 90s hip hop, right? So I remember, I had a Run DMC sweatshirt, dude, in the 80s. The thing was so sick. I wish I had with the skyline of New York on and everything, and a big in the Beastie Boys and all that stuff. It was just what a great era of music as well, right? 80s and 90s, great era of music as well. 2000s, it sounds like the same old shit with everything. But so the T-Law. So let's talk about I want to ask you about the market because I'm hearing is it finally tanking? I think I saw Cuban Missile Cards. I think did a video talking about how expensive Select is. $1,500 to $1,800 a hobby box, and someone pulled a Mac Jones out of 49 RPA and it was only $500. So, what's your take on that? Is it tanking? I know boxes are more than cards now, which doesn't make any sense, but Panini's trying to money grab, as we know. So,
I don't think it's tanking because I mean, the Mickey Mantle just sold for $12 million.
That's true. That's true.
And another card I forgot sold for $7 million. I forgot the name of it. Oh, the Hornets Wagner sold for $7 million.
Oh, okay, yep. So the vintage is cool, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that it's tanking at all. If you want to talk about modern, I think One of One just sold for like 100,000 or something, or 200,000. I think it was like Trevor Lawrence or whatever.
Right.
The thing about it is that I think people are smartening up. Because I was one of those ones who were always going by wax and trying to pull something big.
Yeah.
And then when you realize it, let's say if you go to Walmart with the prices now and you're spending $200 on blaster boxes and you pull a bunch of junk, you could have spent $100 and got
the card,
a Mac Jones Silver with an extra 50 to get it graded, and you've been made way more than that.
Sure.
$200 that you were trying to find that card in those blasters. So I just think that people are smart enough. There was a time, I think like in 2020, where you couldn't find college baseball on the shelves.
Really?
Yeah, it was just everything.
You had so much money because they were home, right? Because they wanted to.
Yeah,
they were home and they had nothing to do.
Everybody was they were just snatching everything up. And now, like when you go in the stores, you see all this product that's still on the shelves. Is because I think just people are just like, it doesn't make sense to buy all this stuff and break it and try to pull a big card when I could just go and buy it. The only thing that's bad about it is buying singles is what I've noticed is that if it's not already graded, chances are the singles that you buy is going to have some kind of defect on it because, people are just like, if it's a good card, I'm just going to get it graded. I can get the most out of it. But the last couple of cards that I purchased, like from eBay, it has a nick on it or a scratch and it's like,
I bought a few. So the first single I bought when I got back in the hobby, this was back in October, November, because Jonathan Taylor was going bananas, right? He was going crazy at that time. So I ended up getting I was first going through those Facebook groups, which I heard are probably not great news. That's the bad news. But I got a good deal with this guy for his Select auto, and I think it was out of, I want to say 99. I ended up, getting a grade by SGC, got 9.5 on it, I think. A 9 or a 9.5, and I ended up flipping just making money. So all the singles I've ever bought, I've made money on, but it's just not as fun. It's just not,
I
you
mean,
know.
it's not, but I mean, if you are just like if you are sticking to one player or a couple of players, like I have a few players that I collect, I figure that's the best route. I could just use that money and get the card that I actually want
Yeah,
instead of
true.
buying the.
True. I mean, I'm sure you spent way less than I have. So, on breaks because I got at the beginning. So back because I found Whatnot, which is bad news. Whatnot can be very addictive. I got like I was heavy into it at the beginning of the year. And I was like, by March, April, I'm like, ugh. Not super crazy, like compared to some people I've heard, not that crazy, but for me, crazy, right? And I'm like, I gotta pump the brakes. And I've been kind of weaning myself down ever since, right? Because again, and the other thing too was that I'm getting salty because I'm getting these nice cards like this, the Barry downtown that had an issue, or I had the Mac Jones out of 75 auto out of Pinnacle Chronicles that had the issue. It's like, shit, man. Like, am I going to get another great card? It's going to have to be banged up too, because and then you contact Panini, and it's a big black hole. You don't hear anything, right? Everything's in the abyss. So let's tool on Panini a little bit, Cormeum. let's go after them a bit. So give me like your top 3 things that bother you about them.
The top 3 things. Well, the things that bother me about Panini is I hate the Dutch auction thing.
Okay.
It's like we're gonna. Sorry for the language. We're gonna rape you in the beginning, and then we'll see what happens at the end. If you can get it, or you can get it cheap. I hate the redemption thing. Of course, I think that's just not fair. You spend all that money on a product, you pull a redemption, you expect to have it back. I mean, I understand that it's kind of hard to get with players and everything, but I feel like in a certain time frame, maybe 6 months at most, if you have a contract, you should be sending those redemptions out.
I mean, I think at the very least, because they, there's the whole thing with the points and the white boxes and the black boxes they had at the National and blah blah blah. I swear to God, some people, if you gave them like a gift card to buy wax from them for whatever the card was worth, I'm sure they'd still do it. People would still do it, but they don't give them anything. There's no customer service at all. I followed up on my Kyle Pitts RPA 5, 6, 7 times, nothing. I contacted them about Mac Jones because I've heard horror stories where if you send in the damaged card, you may never see it again.
Yeah, I actually have one. I pulled the Anthony Edwards optic, and it was like a parallel, and it's like I'm upset that I sent it. It's like I could have just kept it.
Oh, and you haven't got it back, I'm assuming.
No, it's over a year.
So it's like, and I did that parody video that you probably saw, but it's like that's how I feel. That's how I feel it is. Like these people just probably the people working there probably underappreciated, underpaid, and at this point, if you don't like your job, right? I've been there, you've been there. You don't put your full effort in, you don't give a shit. I mean, end of the day, right? It just seems like, and there's a lot of breakers out there. I was with Daily Dose doing a break with him, and he pulled out a T-Law out of the mega boxes. I believe it's the bronze parallel, and he pulled it for somebody else and had a big nick in it, and he felt super bad. And you could tell like some of these breakers like genuinely feel bad for people because they got screwed. Let's be honest, they got screwed. You pay $90 getting a break, you pull a $300 card. You got your money back. Yeah. But if you pull a card, it's damaged. And he's not like, say, if you love T-Law, you may not care either way. Like I love Barry Sanders. I got Mac Jones. He's on the Patriots. I'm going to keep him. It's not end of the world stuff. But if you wanted to flip that card, you're screwed because you're not going to be able to do it.
Yeah, I think that's just. I mean, I know that centering has always been a thing,
right,
throughout time. So I don't really get angry at centering.
Cool. Yeah.
But it's just like when stuff is peeling off. Like I think there was one guy who pulled a card apart.
I saw that. Yeah.
It's stuff like that. It's like, come on now, you can't let that slip through the cracks.
You probably have people do this too. You probably have moles like me that send you stuff so you do videos. Like I had a guy send me a picture. It's Travis Fulgham off the Eagles. It was not a mid-tier receiver. He's no big deal. But the card was just. It was like literally like pieces of 3 cards, like the border of one. He was so far over to the left. It wasn't even close to being a card. It didn't even look like a real card because it was so off. But someone said to me, well, who cares? It's a Travis. But the thing is, maybe this guy loves that player.
Right. It's it's your money you're spending on this stuff. You expect a quality product. You know what I'm saying?
Tell me
It's
another
not cheap.
industry or whatever that they could get away with this. Like none. Like you can't go
Yeah,
buy a car and they'll be like, we'll deliver it maybe in a year. You got to keep paying
right.
for it though. You're like, no. Like, what are you doing? Um, they know the end is near for them with Fanatics coming in, and they're printing money. Let's be honest, and everybody's like they're thinking. So, do you think the junk wax era 2.0 is coming, or what do you think?
I still don't think a junk wax era is coming because it's still cards are still hard to find the good
True,
stuff now.
true.
It's still hard to find. So junk wax they were everywhere. Like I mentioned, you can go to a dollar store and
Everywhere.
pick
Yep.
up something crazy, upper deck something. But now it's like you can't find Prism, you can't find Optic. No matter what the sport is. Maybe baseball. That's it.
Yeah,
Those big
baseball's
those,
hockey and baseball. I think that's it. Right.
and even in my area, you can't even find tops. So
Really?
it's like I don't think it's a junk wax. I think that's just more people, like I mentioned earlier, they're just smartening up. They're like, man, forget buying these boxes, on a reseller market. I can just take that money and just buy the car that I want. It's not
Oh,
as
right.
fun, but
I mean, I bought a optic blaster at my LCS for 65, and they go for 25 or 30. I
right.
should say. They go for 30. But again, it's one of those things like, can you fault them for turning a profit because they were smart enough to buy it? Maybe not. But sometimes when you see they're being sold for like 500% more than they're worth, and but people are really gouging, then you're like, come on. Like I've seen breaks where I think it was when Prism came out. And if I remember correctly, the box when it came out was 2 around there, I want to say. This guy was selling 32 teams at 100 a pop.
Oh man.
So you're selling it for $3,200 that box. So, and I know people are like, well, there's overhead and all that. All right, so there's shipping out and the overhead. You spend some time. All right, take a couple $100 off that. You're still making $1,200 off that box.
Yeah. I mean, of course, if there's money involved, then everybody's going to try to do what they can to pull a dollar out of it. Yeah, but like I say, I mean, the hobby is smartening it up. I don't even see, well, like I say about a year ago when I used to go on to like Mercari and eBay, you used to just see wax everywhere for sale. I don't even see that as much because I don't think that people are buying them like they used to.
No, I mean, I don't. I think people are a little gun shy. You probably saw the video from the National when someone bought like, I want to say 2012 Prism and it had like the Austin Powers cards in there.
Yeah.
You like,
yeah.
People are like, and I heard someone told me that, what was it, StockX? What is one of those
StockX.
Yeah, one of those websites that they repack and rewrap them. I heard those rumors too, and you're like shitty,
Yeah.
That's not cool. You know what I mean?
And I used to buy from StockX. And
oh, you heard that too then? You heard that too then?
Yeah, in my last experience, I bought like a bunch of optic blasters, enough to hit a downtown. And I got absolutely nothing in there. So it was like I was like
downtown, yeah.
I was like, maybe that the person, they hit the car that they wanted, and they was like, well, let me sell the rest of these.
Yeah. Well, they weigh them. You heard about weighing them and all that. It's just,
yeah.
You never in a million years thought when you get back into it, there's so much elaborate schemes. You know what I mean? The world is full of scammers. It's unfortunate. So, is your son into sports cards? You said
no. He's actually he's into Pokemon. That's
my son's into Pokemon too. So I think I created a monster Cormeum with my son is because he got into it. Like he's really into. So when he does things with me, like I sell cards for like anywhere from $20 to $1. They're not crazy cards, right? I kind of call it the PC yard sale. Everybody's like, "Where's the big cards?" How many big cards you buy at a yard sale? Just saying, you know what I mean? But I teach him about pricing the cards out and then protecting them. Because when I was a kid, I didn't protect all my cards. I'm not going to be I'm not going to lie to you and say I had these all and no, I didn't. I had some big box, threw them in a box, right? Yeah. So about the business side too, like if you do sell a card, you have to pay for the shipping. You have to pay for the packing materials. You have to try and give them a little business sense as well, right? Because it is a business sense. And customer service, being nice to people and polite and all that stuff as well. But we have a lot of fun with it as well. My wife it's just material things. And I'm like, No, but this material thing brings us together and we talk about it. You know what I mean? Like people forget that. It's sometimes this is just the key to open the door. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Right. And we've had a blast doing it. And unfortunately got in a little trouble. My wife took his whole collection away. So he has to earn that back. We'll see what goes on. Cause she got so mad, she like dumped some of them in the trash. I'm like, we'll get those. I'm like, gonna clean those off. That Nick Chubb autograph rookie card. Get that out of there. Don't get that. Man. They're not just cardboard.
Yeah, it's crazy because my son, he pulled a pretty big Pokemon card. It was like a Charizard, one of those special shiny fates one or whatever. And it's just the look on his face. He was
stoked.
He was so excited. Like he was like, "Oh, I got the card! And it was.
Yeah, my son pulled a $40 Pokemon out of a $5 pack. I mean, that's the fun stuff, right? Like when we were younger, whatever those rookies were, and we pulled them out of a pack. We're like I got a Roger Clemens back in the day. I was like, holy shit, and then they're not worth anything now. But again, it's spending that time with your kid, going over, the hobby and so forth. Like my son's gonna help me draft one of my fantasy teams, all that stuff. You're gonna put some input in. I'll probably overrule him on most, but whatever. It's just that time you get to spend because now, as you know, there's so many things. Kids got so much going on now with all the technology and things like that. That family time is very precious, I think, more than ever. To really do that. And plus, two parents working, and it's just, before you know, you wake up and you're 70. It's like, holy shit, what happened? But I don't know. Do you have anything else to share? You want to talk about any other topics or anything? Because I can talk as much as you.
Nah, I mean, it's everything. I just wanted people just to, just collect, just have fun with it. I think people just got into it for the business part, and you kind of lost the whole fun. Like I hate when people show like their collection and somebody say, well, your collection is trash. That doesn't make sense to me. You know what I'm saying? Like just because somebody has bigger cars doesn't mean that person's collection is trash. Another thing is like I get the sense of like I always say this. It feels like in high school when you were considered the nerd collecting stuff. Yeah. And now that you became whatever you were collecting became cool, now you become the bully. And it's like I hate that about this hobby. You know what I'm saying? Like when people like, if you don't have PSA, then your car's are junk. Like that makes no sense. Like
the whole PSA thing is like I don't get that because I think like I have I have this card here. I got pulled in a break. I got the Justin Herbert Red Prism out of 99, right? So his rookie card. So when I got it, I thought there was a divot on it. So I sent it to SGC anyway, and I ended up getting a 10. People were like, you should crack it open. I'm like, no. Because if I do sell this, if I miss out on $300-400, I'm okay with it. I'm not, whatever. You know what I mean? But
yeah,
I've held on to this thing since February. Like every time I do a live, it's in the background because it's just on my desk, if you will. And everybody's like, how much you want for it? I'm like, because this is my only card that I'm actually going into the season to play the market, if you will, to see where it goes. And because I honestly think this is the year for the Chargers finally, because they did the upgrades on D and all that. I know that division's a gauntlet, but I don't think the Chiefs are as good as they were. I think the Raiders are the Raiders, and I think Denver's going to be better for sure with Russ. But I think it's the time for the Chargers to step up. So I'm kind of excited to see where that goes.
Yeah, I follow Herbert myself, man. He's just fun. It's just fun to watch him. But
it reminds me like when Burrow and when Mahomes goes against Herbie, or it's like that was back in the day when Montana went against Marino, or any of the other quarterbacks have those shootouts. I remember not to that degree, but Drew Bledsoe played for the Patriots, and him and Marino had an incredible shootout one day in the early 90s. I remember the touchdown still, like who caught them, how they would caught them, like over the shoulder, Ray credit in, like you just remember that stuff and in your head, which is just, that's what it's all about. Like I said, it's the memories, right? It's just the real cool stuff. And the other thing I want to hit upon too, and you could talk about that and how you got on TikTok and you're following as well. It's just, like I said, the community is just, there's more good people than bad. There's so many good people on here that I've met and become friends with. And like I said, they just embraced my son and I. One guy sent my son, even though they were based, and some actually nice cards, little nice cards mixed in there. His name is Ocho. He's out of Wisconsin. He sent my son, like literally, dude, 6-pound box of cards.
Wow.
Like it was huge. Like, because I thought it was for me, because I don't care, dude. I'm almost 50, but I still run to the mailbox. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm still excited to get mail days, dude. I'm still excited. But yeah, they just, what's Junior's favorite card? What are you into? And then these Barry Sanders are coming out of nowhere. It's just like, that's awesome stuff, right? And someone asked me, do you reciprocate? And I go, I don't have any big cards and stuff like that, but if I hear guys, his son's with them, I'll send, like, you like the Minnesota Vikings, I'll send you what I have for the Vikings. I'll send them all to you. Because and then when you hear, when he opened up those cards, his face was lit up like the 4th of July. I mean, that's the stuff. That's the good stuff about this hobby. So what do you really enjoy about the hobby? And then then we'll wrap up. You can give you all your socials and all that fun stuff.
Oh man, what I enjoy about the hobby is like it's crazy, just from being on TikTok, like how much it's grown. I have a crazy story. Is like I used to watch Loot Box TV all the time.
Oh yeah, those good guys, Gin and Juice, right? Is it Gin?
Yeah, I used to watch them all the time. And then one day I was posting something, and then Juice hit me up and was like, "Hey, let's do a trade or whatever." And we did the trade. He sent over some extra stuff. It was pretty cool.
Tell us the trade, Cormeum.
It was the Jerry West 1-of-1.
Okay.
He wanted the 1-of-1, and he sent me a Herbert autograph. So, and I like Herbert, so it actually worked out.
Is he a big Lakers guy or?
No, he wants to start a collection of 1-of-1s.
Oh, all right, well, fine.
But the thing about it is just that, like, I was just watching this guy on YouTube, being a fan, and now I talk to him on the regular. It's like,
oh, dude, I get that star power too. Like, when people like, Chris is a great cat on here and stuff.
Right.
Other people reach out to me, say, I love your it's the most gratifying thing, and not from an ego standpoint, is when people say they love your content. That means you're making a difference somehow or an impact. That's, with social media, I'm not trying to get on my professional pulpit here, but it's this, you got to make a difference for somebody in a positive light, period. Right? Him reaching out to you and you're like all starstruck and shit, and you're like, whatever. But now he's a buddy. Now he's a friend, and it's cool,
Right. And I just think that that's so crazy. Like now it's like I can't wait to meet everybody in person. Like Mama Breaks told me the other night, she can't wait to meet me, and I'm like, I watch you guys on YouTube.
I watched you first. You can't like me more. I like you more. Like, what's going on?
So yeah, it's just that the car community, it's just crazy that it's like that now. And and I don't know if you experienced this, but like being out public and people be like, I watch you on YouTube. You're that guy. So
so quick story too. You and I could probably talk forever, but I'm a big hockey fan, big Boston Bruins fan. So I literally 10 years ago started a Facebook fan page, and it has like now almost 50,000 people. And I used to go to games, and they'd be like, Papa Bruin, what's going on? And then like on camera, you're like, oh, cool. That's, all good. But then I get super ass shy. Like they come up to you. I'm like, hey, what's going on? Hey, are you in section 3, seat 4? I can see you. I'm like, no, that's not, whatever. But it's like, go ahead.
I'd be shocked, like when somebody say, "Hey, I watch you on TikTok all the time. You do the card things." I'd be like, "You watch me?" Like,
no, dude, because again, you bring value to the table, and again, like some people, consider to me when I talk about Panini and the redemptions and the damage, and they're like, "You're complaining." I go, "I'm not complaining," because when you go in my videos, you'll see a dozen or 2 dozen people telling their stories too, that they're going through it as well, and then maybe somebody has like an email address or a phone number to get through to somebody, or there's a back door somehow to get to whatever. You're never going to know unless you put it out there. Like you're never going to know. So, and I want people to know that, especially like what I learned, like I'm going to do like in October will be a year for me being back into it. And I want to do a series of videos, like where I screwed up, what I learned, and how I got better. You know what I mean? So that's kind of the whole thing, is like the journey, right? So that's what you kind of want to share.
My whole thing is I like to tell people if product is available, because I know you come across people and they be like, well, I can't tell you my stash.
You help me.
Why? Yeah. So it's like I always, if I have a chance to find out some information, it's like, yeah, of course.
I got people drop me messages and so forth. Hey, Target's got this or that, the other thing. It's funny though, like with Fanatics, right? You know how that you have to like kind of sign up to get in, to pick the lottery and get in the drop and all that. But like I like Chronicles. I know they're not worth much, but I love the card. I just love the cards. They're just good
I
looking.
do too.
The variety and all that. So I got a blaster. I ended up getting into the drop for the Fanatics blasters, and it's taken over a month to get them.
Oh man,
it's crazy. You know what I mean? But hey, man, I know you got your kids and so forth and so on, and but I just like plug your social media and don't be shy about it, dude. You bring a raw good value, good cat. So just plug your stuff, man.
It's all the same. It's TikTok. It's Cormeum Sportscards, CORMEUM_sportscards. It's on Instagram and TikTok is where I make most of the videos. So yeah, if you want to check me out, that's where the places that you go. You can always holler at me.
And then when you tell him that you watch his videos, he'll get all shy. And then that's But hey, man, I gotta tell you, I gotta give you a comment. One of the best things that you're always smiling, dude, and that's awesome. Yeah, happy and smiling, which again, it's contagious. So continue to do what you do. I will hit you up for your address because I'm sending you these Neon Dion cards. So on me, of course, if I get any other ones, I'll send them to you. I think I might actually have one of his 90 baseball cards, and I'll look for that if I have that too.
Nice.
But yeah, for sure. And again, so I appreciate you. We will definitely be talking, and Breaking Gill Boys podcast is out.